In the heart of the Midwest, nestled within the campus of a small, unassuming college, stood a dormitory with a sinister reputation. Whispers of its haunted past spread like wildfire among students, warning them away from room 303. Legend had it that decades ago, a troubled student had met a tragic end within its walls, leaving behind a legacy of darkness that lingered long after their departure. Enter Emily, an optimistic freshman with a penchant for adventure and a disregard for superstition. When she received her housing assignment, she barely batted an eye at the ominous rumors surrounding room 303. After all, she reasoned, ghost stories were nothing more than fanciful tales concocted to spook the easily frightened. With a confident stride, Emily unpacked her belongings and settled into her new abode, unaware of the malevolent forces that lay in wait. At first, all seemed well. Her room appeared no different from any other, and her roommates were friendly and welcoming. Yet as the days turned into weeks, subtle signs began to manifest. It started innocuously enough, an item misplaced here, a strange noise heard there. Emily brushed off these occurrences as mere quirks of dormitory life, attributing them to her overactive imagination. But as the nights grew longer and the whispers grew louder, she could no longer deny the unsettling truth. One fateful evening, Emily awoke to a chilling sight. A shadowy figure standing at the foot of her bed, its form twisting and contorting in the darkness. Frozen in terror, she watched as the figure leaned in close, its breath hot against her ear as it whispered unintelligible words that sent shivers down her spine. With a scream of terror, Emily bolted from her bed, racing through the halls in a blind panic. Bursting into the dormitory office, she demanded to be reassigned, her words tumbling out in a frantic stream of terror and desperation. But as she pleaded her case, the staff exchanged knowing glances, their expressions grim and solemn. For Emily was not the first to encounter the malevolent presence that dwelled within room 303, nor would she be the last. With a heavy heart, the staff informed her that the room had been vacant for years, its dark history too potent to be forgotten. And so, with a sense of dread weighing heavy on her heart, Emily left behind room 303, its secrets buried deep within the recesses of her memory. To this day, the room remains empty, its door locked tight to keep the darkness at bay. But whispers of its haunted past linger on, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurk within the shadows of the college campus. In the heart of a prestigious college campus, nestled amidst the ivy-covered buildings and cobblestone pathways, stood a bronze statue that had long captured the curiosity and imagination of students and faculty alike. The statue, a solemn figure with outstretched arms and a mournful expression, was said to be a memorial for a student who tragically met their end on the campus grounds decades ago. But as with many tales whispered in the hallowed halls of academia, the truth behind the statue's existence was far more unsettling than mere folklore. It was on a moonlit night when the campus was bathed in an eerie glow that the events of our story began to unfold. A young freshman, new to the labyrinthine corridors of higher education, found herself drawn to the statue like a moth to a flame. Intrigued by the whispered rumors and half-truths that surrounded it, she felt an inexplicable pull towards the courtyard where the statue stood sentinel. As she approached, the air grew thick with anticipation, the hairs on the back of her neck standing on end. There, bathed in the soft light of the moon, she saw the statue in all its silent majesty. Its features, frozen in eternal mourning, seemed to beckon to her, urging her closer with an otherworldly allure. But it was not the statue's visage that captured her attention. It was the faintest hint of movement, a subtle shifting of lips that drew her gaze like a moth to a flame. Unnerved yet undeterred, she stepped closer, her heart pounding in her chest, until she was mere inches away from the bronze figure. And then it happened. The whispering began. At first it was nothing more than a soft murmur, barely audible over the rustling of leaves and the distant hum of nightlife. But as she strained to listen, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, until they filled her mind with a cacophony of voices, each one more chilling than the last. She tried to retreat, to flee from the haunting presence that enveloped her, but it was too late. The statue's curse had taken hold, its grip tightening with every passing moment. From that day forward, she was haunted by the relentless whispers that echoed in her ears, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of the seemingly idyllic campus. No amount of therapy or medication could silence the voices that plagued her, driving her to the brink of madness with their ceaseless torment. And so she remained trapped in a waking nightmare, a prisoner of the statue's curse, doomed to wander the halls of academia for all eternity. A cautionary tale for those who dared to seek out the truth hidden in the shadows. In the heart of the sprawling college campus, surrounded by majestic oak trees and sprawling lawns, there stood an aging lecture hall, its weathered facade a testament to the passage of time. For decades, this hall had been a cornerstone of academia, a sanctuary where knowledge was imparted and minds were molded. But beneath its veneer of scholarly pursuits lay a darkness that few dared to acknowledge, a darkness that would reveal itself on one fateful stormy night. As rain lashed against the windows and thunder rumbled ominously in the distance, a group of students found themselves drawn to the lecture hall like moths to a flame. With looming deadlines and exams looming on the horizon, they sought refuge within its familiar confines, hoping to eke out a few precious hours of study amidst the chaos of the tempestuous night. At first, all seemed normal as they settled into their seats, the dim glow of the overhead lights casting long shadows across the worn wooden desks. But as the night wore on and the storm outside intensified, a palpable sense of unease began to settle over the group. It started with a subtle flicker of the lights, barely noticeable amidst the dim ambience of the lecture hall. But soon the flickering grew more pronounced, accompanied by an ominous hum that seemed to reverberate through the very walls themselves. Sensing that something was amiss, the students exchanged nervous glances, their textbooks forgotten as they strained to listen for any sign of danger. And then it came, a whisper, soft and insidious, like the rustling of leaves on a cold winter's night. At first it was barely audible, a mere whisper of sound that sent shivers down their spines. But as the minutes passed, the whisper grew louder, more urgent, until it filled the lecture hall with its haunting refrain. Terrified, the students scrambled to their feet, their hearts pounding in their chests as they searched for the source of the unearthly sound. But to their horror, they found themselves trapped, the heavy wooden doors of the lecture hall sealed shut as if by some unseen force. Panic gripped their hearts as they realized the truth. They were not alone in the lecture hall. Something sinister lurked in the shadows, a malevolent presence that sought to claim their souls as its own. Desperate for escape, they pounded on the doors, their cries for help drowned out by the relentless whispers that echoed through the darkness. But as the minutes turned into hours, hope began to fade, replaced by a bone-deep terror that threatened to consume them whole. In a final act of defiance, they banded together, drawing upon reserves of courage and determination they never knew they possessed. With a mighty heave, they threw themselves against the doors, their combined strength enough to break the seal that held them captive. As they stumbled out into the night, gasping for breath and hearts pounding in their chests, they knew that they had faced true horror and emerged victorious. But the memory of that harrowing night would linger with them forever, a chilling reminder of the true horrors that lurked within the hallowed halls of academia, waiting to ensnare the unwary in their malevolent grasp.